Hey everybody, it is I, Alexander A. Manzoni, with today's edition of Manzoni in the Morning. Yeah, how you doing? Woo. Feeling crazy? Feeling wild today? I know I am. After all, it's leading up to one of the biggest days of the year, Election Day. Fuck it. I can't wait till it's over. Either we're ready for 4 more years of hell or a new era in America. I'm hoping for a new era in America, honestly, because the last 4 years have been fucking hell, and I can't wait for this shit to be over. You know? Woo! Woo! Boom! So what's everyone up to today? Not much, obviously, because mostly everyone is still home on quarantine. Self-imposed or otherwise. Not really much to do around town. Not really much to do anywhere. So what do? You go on the fucking internet. You look at your fucking TikTok videos and your goddamn fucking Instagram live shit. And you kind of just pine for the days of yore when you got to hang out with your buddies and have a nice, normal Halloween. Yeah, how about Halloween this year? What the fuck are you supposed to do? I don't know. Leave some fucking candy in a bucket outside and say take one, and like have a box of tissues and some hand sanitizer, or like have them put on a rubber glove and grab one out of the bucket, you know. Only take one, which means the kids are going to take a lot more than one, I'll tell you that much. Well, either way, we'll find a way to survive, thrive, and continue. Boom. Yeah. Yeah. This is where I need to be. You know, it used to be where I would go and do poetry events around town, maybe like once every month or so, sometimes more than that. And that was a lot of fun. But now, those places are gone. La Resistance, gone. Art Seed, gone. You know, a whole bunch of other ones that I thought of maybe like trying to get in with and asking them, hey, can I do some poetry here? Gone. And that goes for businesses, too. A lot of places are gone now that we used to be able to get awesome food at. Kim's Teriyaki, R.I.P., among other places. The list is staggering how many places are closing. But some people want to say that our super spreader-in-chief is responsible for an amazing economy. It's so amazing right now. It's so amazing that we lost more jobs than any other president in history. Or in the last 100 years or something. Jesus fucking Christ. But, you know, you ask them and they'll say, well, they took my job. I said this Mexican came in, or this black boy came in and he took my job. They just gave it to him because of affirmative action. Yeah, always an excuse with you people. And then you say that us snowflakes are the bitchy ones. Fuck you. Comment section people, fuck you. I'm sick of your shit. You know, mincing words, getting fixated on little details. The details only matter to you when you're attacking somebody else. When you're on the defense, details mean nothing. You say, details? What are those? You know, you're not looking at the big picture here. Oh, here's a big picture for you. There's my ass for you. There you go. Kiss it. Not the Manzoniacs, though. My fans, followers, people who are following me for the right reasons, not just because they're trying to keep track of me, just so they can know where they can get me where they want me or some shit. But the Manzoniacs, people who like Manzoni. It's a word now. I'm making it. Boom. Done. Wow. And you think I use up all this energy by myself. But don't thank me. Thank my mania. Past couple weeks, I've been manic. The last podcast I did, manic. You know, it's like being on a Coke binge that doesn't end. except you wake up and you're like at that 3-hour point or 4-hour point where you're like doing it, and then you're like realizing this isn't really doing much for me anymore, but it feels kind of good and it's in my dopamine pathway, so I'm just keep doing it anyway. And then you get so exhausted you can't even fucking think. And that's how I am. Just too much energy sometimes, exhausted other times. Sometimes I have energy and exhausted, and it's just hard to function at any level. So you should keep me on the stage, on the live stream, any of that stuff. Problem is, I have to do other things. I have to live my life. I have to take care of this beautiful house and just try to survive and try not to have stuff piling up, dishes to the ceiling and laundry spilling out the door and shit. But here's a way you can help. I just signed up for Venmo. My username is @payingmanzoni, one word, and you can donate to the podcast. You could also do so through Anchor, and they have a option to donate to a podcast. And so if you go on my Anchor page, you can get set up with that. Although the Venmo is more of a one-time thing, and the Anchor is like a monthly donation. And what will I do with that donation? I'm going to get better shit. I'm going to get a better camera. I'm going to get a better keyboard. I'm going to get, better microphone, better everything, set pieces, costumes. Maybe one day I'll be able to get some fucking guests in here. Well, some more guests in here. I have had guests before. Just not really to talk. I've only had them for my sketches. Haven't done that in a long time, but, it's better to just concentrate on one thing. I'm saying I do like 3 or 4 things at once. Like I'm doing the podcast, doing my poetry, writing my novel, which is over 550 pages now, Judge, Coach, and Executioner. I'm also editing the Spokane Story, the other novel. And I'm also writing a bunch of short stories, doing one in Africa. I'm doing one about a white man's hell. I'm doing all kinds of crazy shit. And it's a lot of fun, because that's my escape. That's how I escape. I go, I write, I put myself into these places. I travel, and being bipolar, I kind of everything is amplified for me. And just from watching a lot of documentaries on Africa and survival stories of people stuck, in Africa, feel like I've been there. Feel like I know what to do, what not to do, and exactly what these entitled rich white fucks are going to do on their fucking yacht boat. They're traveling the Zambezi River. Yes. Trying to get some, relax in all this quarantine business. And of course, there are a bunch of fucking assholes. Big game hunter type people. It's like if the Trumps and the Kardashians fucked each other and then shot out a devil baby with a little bit more intelligence. The main guy character is kind of smart, but he's a fucking dick. Them fucking South African white people who think, oh yes, this is our land. This is our land. Fuck those guys. Fuck that. Fuck going to someone else's country and taking over and saying, this is ours now. Sorry, I'm doing this from America, but, I perfectly realize that the white colonialists are fucked in the head, and all they were concerned about was land, gold, slaves, and just all that shit. So fuck that. I just... I take a lot of the stuff that I write about as stuff that upsets me, and I feel like I don't know how to deal with it. So I kind of have to work it out on the page, and it usually ends up putting these assholes in precarious situations where, if they're not dead, they'll wish they were. Hey-yo! So what do we got? What do I got for you today? I got some poems. Got some poems for you to hear. Got to get this done before the people wake up downstairs and the dog starts barking like crazy. Fucking dog. This is called Pandemic Panic. I wrote this at the beginning of the quarantine in March. Didn't get a lot done. I mean, like, I got a lot of writing done, but as far as podcast stuff, there was a long gap between from when we moved into this house and when I did my first podcast here, because I just did not feel comfortable doing it. But I like my office. I like my space. I like my no problema pillow to remind me, don't sweat the small stuff. Yeah, right. Ugh, okay. Pandemic panic. Everything is closing down. Nobody wants to be around one another in public. No fans in the stands. Americans, most are not so used to not using their hands to shovel junk food into their wide open gullets, blowing their noses and combing their mullets. Trump says it's a hoax, yet the NBA, the NHL have suspended their games. Shows are being hosted without their live studio audiences. Fallon, Colbert, DeGeneres. Fucker. What's the deal with all this? This pandemic panic is spreading. We know not where we are heading. A new era of anguish. The end times apocalypse. Poetry and Spinals in Spokane not canceled. Author's note, next day they were. But I, still sick, not with the big one, will not be going, as I am not trying to make people feel uncomfortable with my dripping nose, runny-eyed presence. Will these news stories relent? It all seems to be getting worse. Of course. 'Tis pandemic panic in the air. And if you are unaware, wash your fucking hands before traversing across the land. By rail, by bus, by plane, but not on a cruise. Unless you want to get quarantined. Though some of them, too, are closing down as well. The Orange Demon just banned non-citizens who aren't actively fighting the virus from traveling to and from Europe for 30 days. Except the places where he has his own golf course, UK and Ireland. Can't affect his bottom line. Nope, fuck him. He believes it's a joke, but who's laughing now? Where will we be tomorrow? Next week? Next month? Our society is more fragile than we surmised. All it takes is one big shock to rock the foundations and send the stock market into a tailspin. The hashtag Trump crash. Fuck that shit. Funny, I started writing that poem, when the quarantine began, and shit was still, a couple things were still open. And now, here we are in October. If anything, more places are closed now than there were then. And it's insane. But don't be one of those mask holes. Don't be a mask hole. Don't be a COVIDiot. Fucking wash your goddamn fucking hands. Fucking wipe your ass. And then, wipe your nose with your fingers. Don't actually do that. I know there's a lot of people on the internet who will take you at face value and don't realize what sarcasm is. Look between the fucking lines, you fools! Speaking of which, I need to look between the lines too. The lines. Except they keep moving. They keep moving all around. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? That's why I ask God to grace me with patience, which is the title of the next poem. Grace me with patience, alleviate my rage, my irritability, and my stubbornness. Angels, deliver unto me a sign, a prophecy, and a brilliant book of wisdom. The world, it keeps getting worse by the day. There's no end in sight. The negativity snowballs down the mountain, gathering steam, gathering weight, gathering momentum to carry itself, hurtling past the Alps, all the way east, past the Himalayas. If only I were a patient man. If only I could say it won't ever happen to me. Every time I say that, though, it does happen to me. Only the worst case scenarios cut the mustard round here. How can I attain such empty-headed levels of happiness? Through denial? Denial of facts? Denial of grim realities knocking at our doors, our window panes? No global warming? No problem. Everything is a liberal conspiracy, according to the internet, and has it ever been wrong before? I'm told. So let it all go. Let it all go up to God himself. Let fate choose our paths. Will we meet prosperity, or will it be wrath? Landscapes of sweeping hellfire, blistering winds, erupting volcanoes full of melted molten souls, writhing in endless suffering. Conversely, the gates of heaven, they refuse to open. St. Peter's kiosk had a sign posted, "At the club. Be back in 5 centuries. Sincerely, Big P." All right, I said. Suppose I'll come back later. But would there be a later to come back to? Nothing stays the same except the things I can't stand. They remain in situ since time immemorial. They become bedrocks, immovable, unavoidable annoyances. I tell myself everything is a test. I guess I keep failing. My patience is not prevailing. I cannot keep my mouth shut, keep my rage suffering to myself. And it gets me in trouble. Best keep my feelings bottled up until doomsday. I write a poem, then hide it, forget about it almost as soon as it is done. 1 or 2 of these will assuredly come back to bite me in the ass. Crazy. This glare's coming in. I closed the blinds, but it's still getting in. Whatever. Yeah. That's 2 ass shots in one podcast. Hey, you're lucky I'm not showing the whole thing. Or maybe unlucky. Depends on how you look at things. My butt. Try to have a little bit of fucking humor, right? Gotta find something funny in this fucking world. Otherwise, I'd just be angry. I'd just be kicking the air all the time. That's why it's good that I have the podcast and I've got therapy sessions where I can just unload, just say whatever the hell I want. Because I have to really watch what the fuck I say anymore, because I just say whatever the hell I want and piss people off, and then I don't know how to stop it from happening. But sometimes it's good to be pissing people off. Like, on Twitter, I got a bunch of people tried to dogpile on me because I said that we should get rid of the Electoral College and that we need a real democracy, not this fake in-name only democracy. And here come the armchair warriors of light. They said, "Hey, you're too stupid to be a poet. And by the way, what is it? America is a republic, not a democracy. Everybody knows that." Well, yeah, if you say it that way, but people are always talking about how we're in the greatest democracy in the world. So you admit it's not a democracy. Well, then, where do we go from here? Then again, maybe they just wanted to be a republic because they're Republicans. Republic criminals, I'm started to call them. Pro-life. Go fuck yourself. unbelievable. It's like if you wanted to save the babies, you would be concerned about saving the babies after they come out of that vagina. They come out into the world, you're like, no, I don't want anyone getting any health care. I don't want a baby getting a meal with food stamps. I don't want any of that. They should have thought of that before they fucked each other and had that baby. Well, they could have not had that baby, but you're doing whatever you can to stop it. With this fucking new Supreme Court justice they're trying to push through. It's a travesty. It is a travesty that they're doing this 2 weeks to the election. Less than 2 weeks. What are we fucking at now? It's October 22nd, and Election Day is on the 3rd. So, yeah, not that long. Unbelievable. And they didn't let them confirm Obama's guy, Merrick Garland, 9 months. 8 or 9 months before the election. They were like, it's too close to an election. Well, you know, this is what it's all about. Like, they want to put all these limits on us and then not have them on themselves. They want to have laws and say, you know, that guy deserved to get shot by the cops because he broke the law. Doesn't matter if he was surrendering. Doesn't matter if that person, they broke into the wrong house and killed that person in their bed. Justice for Breonna Taylor, motherfuckers. You know, it's all well and good when it's someone else, and then when it's you, the rules don't apply to you. Well, that's part of being white, you know? I'm rich, I'm powerful, or I want to be rich and powerful, so I'm going to apologize for all the rich and powerful. One day I'm going to win the lottery, so I don't want them raising taxes on the rich in case I become rich. Well, that's nice. What, are you going to buy yourself a new fucking hot tub to put in the bed of your truck, motherfucker? God, I'm sick of people. I'm sick of people. But not sick of you, the viewer. Not sick of the people in the art community around here. The nice people, anyway. You know. Shout out to everybody. Yo. All the old peeps. You know. My love is with you. Manzoni loves you, okay? I may be yelling all the time, but Manzoni loves you. You know, last week I officiated my first wedding for our good friends from the D20 gang, Lexi and Paul, and it was beautiful. I got to wear my priesty suit, and it wasn't a costume. And I wrote a speech, and I wrote a poem for it. If you want to hear the poem, you're going to have to find someone who has access to that live stream. Well, maybe I'll read it one day. No, it's a little personal. I don't know. It was a good poem, you know. It was beautiful. I mean, wind was whipping, and then they were holding down the canopy. We were all outside, and I just had to thank God that he stopped the rain right before we went out there and did the deed, you know. I blew the feather out of my hat and blew my water bottle into the river, but that's all, you know. Could have been a lot worse. That's really nice, you know. So if you want me to officiate your wedding, just give me a heads up, you know. I'd love it. Well, I don't know. Depends on who you are. Like, it really depends on the person. Like, I'm not going to do services for somebody that I can't stand. But that's a given, you know. Boom. Okay, let's get to the next poem. Shall we? I mean, shit. For a while, I was just writing that. Every day, I'd write another coronavirus poem. And then after a while, I was like, what the fuck is there left to say? I'm not going anywhere. Nothing's happening. And just shit has been at a standstill forever. Just hoping that shit's going to change. It's going to get better. And we'll be able to look back on this and say, hey, remember when everything sucked balls for an entire year? No? Okay, good. Let's go to the next thing. Okay. This poem is from day 505 of my my writing challenge. As of October 31st, it'll be, I believe, 2 years that I've written every single day So I started it for a National Novel Writing Month, and I just kept going. Yeah. Or is it National Poetry Writing Month? I think it was National Novel Writing Month. I do both of them. You know, the idea is you write every day for a month, and then the novel writing thing, you're supposed to write a novel in a month. Good luck doing that. You know, you're going to need a lot of fucking speed to do that or something. I don't write that fast, and I can't push myself like that. I do it every day, a little bit every day. That's what I do, and that's working for me. So I'm going to keep doing that. Okay, this is called Everything's Worse. The virus continues its global advance. Everything's worse each day, and it's not simply because of me being that way, okay? All around the world, downtowns lay shuttered, while citizens shudder from within their home prisons. Private penitentiaries shared with other inmates, their families. All we have now is each other each day. Each other and whatever supplies we last picked up from the store. We depend now on an incompetent government, the snail's pace of bureaucracy, plus what some, such as me, are calling the absolute worst American president in history. He wasn't for me, but perhaps some of you still hold true to your Republican values. Looks like you lose unless you're a millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, a Saudi prince, an oligarch, or a celebrity, sports, entertainment, or otherwise. There will soon be no room for you at the hospitals. Not that you'd want to go to one of them now. You'll just as easily catch it there as you will in line somewhere else. They will have to quarantine everybody to put a lid on this, but always a detail, one that is missed. I write these words not knowing where we are going, where we shall be a few months, a year's time from now. Oh well, if it was the end of us, or if it is the end of us, we had a good run, right? Straight white male people. Everyone else seemed to be right at the cusp of being recognized as equals. And let's not forget the other disenfranchised, the disabled, developmentally delayed, reformed felons, drug addicts, transients that refuse to follow the basic rules of society, the terminally elderly and diaper-bound, morticians, carny grifters, tax collectors, rude, sweaty game and comic book clerks, mustachioed creeps behind the counters at sex shops, and dudes over the age of 40 living in their parents' basements, whom their mothers still clean up after and make beds for. But now, who knows where it shall end? Does it matter the color of their skin, their preferences, the lifestyles, my friends? More panic, more pain, more infected, more dead. The numbers of the afflicted rise by the second. Here we are at the pandemic the scientists have been predicting for years. Of course, my gut tells me a lot, and I felt it too. Something's coming. And it did. Now, here we are, on a buzzing, winding nosedive through the soil. The bell tolls for these, our free society. Our rights have been taken in a manner of days. In some states, 8 p.m. curfew. Some states not allowed to leave the house except for groceries, pharmacy, emergencies. They're still funneling everybody into the same crowded spaces while everyone else Everywhere else is a ghost town. Real smart. Only making a bad situation worse. So, of course, let us pray. Let us be kind. Let us be neighborly. And let us remember to wash our goddamned filthy hands whence we need. Whew. Man. It's nuts. And I just can't believe that this is still going on and there's no end in sight. So what are we going to do? You know? What the fuck are we going to do? Well, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to write a poem, and I'm going to write some prose, and then I'm going to write some more, and then, you know, just keep doing that, and maybe eventually I'll be able to get to a point where I can do this podcast and do my novel writing and stuff full time. That would be amazing. Please, if you want to support Manzoni in the Morning, subscribe, follow, and then maybe donate a little bit if you got a little extra. You know, no pressure. I'm not doing that like a lot of people. I get messages all the time from people who are trying to put pressure on me to save them by, you know, having me spend some money. I don't have anything extra. I'm on a fixed income, and I don't have shit. All I've got are my computers, my girlfriend, my mommy, my kitty, my musical instruments, the PlayStation 4, the Nintendo Switch. Well, I got a lot of stuff, but, you know, material goods pale in comparison to having a stable world to live in. It's like I have all the ingredients for what could have been a stable life here in this house, but just one after another, just shit just keeps happening that threatens that stability. And it threatens my sanity, which is why I had to go back to therapy. I had not gone back for 3 years. I got discharged from Frontier Behavioral Health. Now I'm back, baby. And now I'm getting my medication adjusted. Because for the amount of pills I take every day, I shouldn't be this fucking manic. I shouldn't be feeling like this all the time. Christ. You know, fuck. Shit is fucking nuts. And that's why I'm writing about it. And then when shit's too nuts, I start writing about my twisted fantasies. Weird shit. Like with Judge, Coach, and Executioner, I have this secret, the 8th inning orgy. There's a way to make baseball interesting. Have everyone in the fucking stands fucking each other. Oh, it's nasty. That is a nasty book. That is the nastiest piece I've ever written, and I'm proud of it. Although my mom says I need to take out the balls. She says I talk about balls too much. Balls. Balls. Here's the balls for you. Yeah, I love you, Mom. She watches all my podcasts, and she always has something to say. Very supportive. I love my mom. She's great. Yeah. So my next poem is from Quarantine Day 9. 4/2/20. Stay-at-home order. Late night during the age of the stay-at-home order. Our sleeping schedules have been disrupted. So have our lives. Everything has come to a virtual standstill. And what have we to show for it? $1,200 in the mail from the government if you are one of the lucky ones. How about the memories? The priceless memories, sure to be had at home, with that family you've been dying to get away from. After all, 'tis why you secretly loved your job, at least that aspect of it, though you never let on truthfully as to why. Now we can see it. I can see it. Your family, everyone can see it. Your venomous character. It is in your eyes. It is in your breast. Festering slowly. Becoming, transforming, evolving into something else, something worse. In this economic wasteland of chaotic calamity, aren't you glad the governor told everyone they had to stay home? Stay at home so we can face the virus and face the demons inside. The demons that lurk within these halls. No redemption for the soul who gives in to what so consumes them. Anger, resentment, all of these awful things are coming to the forefront. Bolster your spirits against it. Resist it. Make every effort to not become another sad statistic. A lot of pain, man. A lot of pain. We just got to keep moving forward, you know. Just got to keep doing it. I try to have my schedule. I do the same thing every day at the same times. If only I had the podcast into the schedule, but this takes a lot out of me. This is like a therapy session because that's about how long I talk when I'm seeing the guy. But that's okay. You know, I get a lot of tension out of my chest, out of my soul, and I'm just dumping it on the table. Here's my vulnerability. You know, here I am. I'm poor, bipolar, out of sorts, afflicted with Graves' disease, and my thyroid's all fucked up, and sick all the time. Every day I feel like hell. I feel like hell now. But it's all different levels of hell. So I just gotta remember what I need to be thankful for. I got my tooth fixed, so I don't have to worry about that shit anymore. So that was a big thing. Now to get everything else fixed. Well, this is what's the most important thing to fix. Yes. That and dragons. Which brings me to my next poem. Such a smooth segue. It's called Dragons Crawling Forth. Cannot believe I'm still getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to write. The long night has shifted into day. And to all the moments in between. Still, I must strive to try every second asking why. The murderous virus, it stalks these streets from high up into the atmosphere to whatever is swelling beneath. Sulfur, there are dragons crawling forth from lairs, holes, and any other dark spots you wouldn't want to know. They find a rocky edifice to crawl upward and thus disembark on the macabre mission, searching for fresh kills and multiple thrills. There will be a glut of those today. Fire-breathing bastards, they descend upon the community, terrorizing, raising hell itself upon the hills. Full of unassuming, humble shepherd, sheep, goats. The dragons, they alight the day with fear. They ignite the night and everything else. There we go. How about that? So, what's everyone planning on doing this weekend? Anything wild? Or not? Maybe you're just going to stay at home and watch videos on YouTube or the internet. I'm not going to argue with that. As long as you're watching me or one of my affiliates that don't exist yet. Doom. Boom. Oh, I finally came up with a name that I wanted for my production company. Not a company yet, but it will be. I mean, it is in here. Better Than New Jersey Productions. That's right. Celebrating my favorite hashtag that was established at one of my first open mics that I did in Spokane. Thanks, Twan Simultaneous, for being such a great host and helping me out with that. You know, I really miss a lot of these people, these poets. You I used to see him a lot, and now I don't see him at all except online. And, doing everything online, it's not the same, I do want to do some more of the virtual open mics. I kind of have been missing them the last few weeks because I just get caught up in something else, either, caught up in my life or with house shit or something, because I only can do a reading, do the poetry when I'm feeling good, because otherwise it's just unbearable to sit there and listen to everybody's thoughts and their pain, and then have to go up there and then, take your energy to the stage. So, I might go do some soon. I know I have more options now. There's literary magazines that I follow that are all over the United States are having virtual open mics. And that would be a great way to get out there. So I have to do it. I have to motivate myself, and I have to really do it, And I'd love to see you at one of these. Broken Mike's got a great one. 3-minute mic, too. I haven't been to the 3-minute mic virtual one, but it's been on my list. I've been wanting to do it for like the last how many months? That's always happened. If something only happens once a month, I'll be like, oh, yeah, I'm doing this. I'm get my mind to it. And then like the day of or the day before, some shit goes down where I'm like, I just lost all my energy to do this. I just want to go sleep. I must take, I'm asleep all the time. But I'm not up and being crazy. I'm falling asleep, napping. I probably do 2 to 3 naps a day. But, it feels like it resets the clock in my brain when I start getting pissy or getting too high or whatever. On marijuana, nothing else crazy. But, pot kind of affects me differently than other people, so take what I say with a grain of salt, But for weed of the week, I'm going to say Rosé from Loud. It's very nice. Very, very tasty weed. It's kind of expensive, but you can get that over at Cinder Spokane. Yeah, it's one of my favorite weed stores. God, I love weed stores. I don't like going into them, though, because it's always a clusterfuck. But I love the idea of them. I love all the products, the fine, tasty treats, and unexpected surprises. You wouldn't think that there'd be a weed hot sriracha sauce, but there is. There's a weed everything. Thank God. I just wish that it affected me like it affected other people. Like, it's usually, I get super, either I'll get a little bit mellow, or I usually just get, like, super anxious and, like, uncomfortable and in my head, and I keep rolling. I have my racing thoughts, so I just kind of, like, keep going on the same fucking one-track bullshit. I'm just worrying about stuff. Like, today, or last night, I was worried about my plants dying. So I procrastinated all day, and then I finally went out there and grabbed my basil and my parsley and my thyme and my leeks and brought them inside. They're all together in these little pots. I know that the leeks and the thyme will be good for the winter, but the way they're raised up of the ground, I don't think that they're not going to freeze, because like if they were in the ground, they would have the heat of the earth or whatever, but since they're up and there's a lot of cold wind, I feel like it's going to ice them down and fuck them up. Well, Mom said she wanted me to have some basil for stuffed shells this weekend, so I'm doing it. I'm keeping track of that shit, and it ain't dying on my watch. I love my plants a little too much. It's just crazy how I just get so obsessed about stuff and just can't think about anything else except what I need to do or what I haven't done yet. Like today, I didn't really want to do a podcast, but I kept thinking, I was like, you're going to beat yourself up all day if you don't do it, because now it takes me like 2 days to do a podcast, because I do the recording and then I do the editing like the next day. And Saturday or weekends are always kind of shitty for posting videos on the internet because people on Friday, they're kind of like, I mean, Friday's the last call, you know, but they're already kind of occupied on Friday. They're always kind of like thinking about, what am I doing this weekend? And so like posting something like on a Saturday or a Sunday, just like guaranteed to not get as many hits. You know, it's like people just miss that stuff. But come Monday, you know, they're back at work and they're back online and they're willing to fuck around at work and, you know, watch or listen to a podcast. And, you know, they're more apt to do that than when they're like 2 seconds away from going to the bar and getting fucked up, even though that's not really an option anymore. But you understand what I mean. All right, let's go to the next poem. Yeah, poetry is my life. I love it. I love it. I love it. Celebration of words, yes. Day after day. Day after day, we are holed up in here. We know not how long we must stay, nor for how long we will remain when the dust thus settles. Day after day, we strive to retain the semblance of sanity, of normalcy. It's the day before Easter Sunday and the world hasn't reformulated, nor is it reconstituted into a form familiar to our optic orbs and senses. Would Jesus have worn a mask on his arduous march up to Calvary? Would Simon, Peter, doubting Thomas? What about Judas Iscariot? Old legends of dead, dusky-skinned men portrayed in memory as white as the driven snow. Or would he too have grown weary of this daily grind? One that feels so empty, one that feels so ineffectual, like pissing in the wind with a bad case of chlamydia. It seems no matter what we do, the coronavirus is coming through. Quarantine America, quarantine the world. How long can we continue to live this way? Day after fucking day, watching the neighbors, those that go by the front window with narrow, distrustful eyes, asking why, asking how, asking when will it end? We know not the day nor the time which it shall be declared that all of this closing everything down business is over for good. Sooner that happens, the sooner we can get around to forgetting this experience, filing it all the way to the back of our brains, and hopefully make sure that this never happens again. Though admittedly, that is a long shot, considering the foolish Republican scum ruling over much of this country. Their overcapitalization of American capitalism, of anything remotely profitable, is what shall spell our end someday. Our wanton greed, our want. Corporate shitheads, it is they who should be the ones learning from all this. Instead, the small business will go by the wayside, while these sinful, selfish, self-aggrandizing motherfuckers will proliferate at a level few have witnessed before. We must stand tall. We must not allow ourselves to be controlled, to be lied to. We must not allow our spirits to be manipulated by the opposing sides, left versus right. We must do what is right. We must take care of one another. We must survive. Yeah. Crazy. Oh, let's go to my new poem, one that I wrote this morning. Felt like I needed to come here with a new poem, so that's what I did, and here I am with it. Political poetry for people that, know shit and give a shit about shit. That's not part of the poem. This is called Winding Down to a New Era. Less than 2 weeks to go until the end of the beginning, or the beginning of the end. The egotistic individual versus the common good. Public safety versus flaunting the rules. Because freedom sounds pretty dumb to me. Then again, I've always agreed with what the scientists have said. To suggest that they shall be running this country is a bonus. If only we were doing so for much longer, the environmental devastation could have been lessened instead of intensified. Armchair experts cast doubt upon our sanity, upon reality. They are there in every comment section, hiding behind their $5 words and slightly less pricey actually. By the way, and to be fair, they're fucking morons and always will be. Praising themselves, their community response, the president and his army of mutants for every step so taken against the virus. And by virus, I mean the illegal alien menace. They've come to make you press 1 for English whilst on the phone. They've come to take the jobs you weren't even entertaining to consider. They've come to live their lives and perhaps even move next door to you. Entitled to the same protections, the same rights as anyone else in this nation. But you don't even want to give them a chance. Never mind that your great-grandparents were likely from Europe or elsewhere. Never mind that people like you chastised them, threatened them, told them to go back to whatever country from which they came. The only thing that matters is the bottom line. Tax cuts and a pro-life agenda. They're pro-life right up until you're out of the womb. After that, it's fuck you, get a job. Or they should have thought of that before they got themselves born. All you need to do is run everyone around in circles. With faulty logic, overly simplistic, hyper-focused on but a single detail. Saying not to get bogged down in semantics while they lead you into the stinking morass and leave you behind as soon as you realize your foot is hopelessly stuck. May these days of right-wing chaos become but a memory. May they crawl back into the hole from which they emerged. May love triumph over vile viciousness, depraved greed. Vote blue if you don't like what you've been seeing. Vote blue to cast out the demons. Vote blue to save the environment, to tax the super wealthy, to protect our right to health care. If the Republic criminals had such a great solution to Obamacare, why did they not even bother trying to come up with a suitable replacement? It's almost as if voting in politicians with little to no experience in politics would be a bad thing. Don't you want your surgeon to be a live streaming Fortnite expert? Don't you want your car mechanic to be a karate champ? Don't you want your pilot to be a full-time basket weaver? Believe me, it is better to have the qualified doing what they are qualified to do. But many are unable, unwilling to see the truth. They live behind the curtains drawn up over their minds, and there is little you can say for they to willingly open them. Perhaps one day they'll come to terms and learn, but for now they yearn for right-wing authoritarianism, a kingly leader, to lead them wherever he deems fit, without those pesky laws bogging him down. One who shall persecute all those different from the ideal norm, and act like Christians are the ones who are treated so unjustly, are prejudiced against, because in case you didn't hear, racial disparity doesn't exist here. No, They say it's because we had a black president already. Never mind that he was met with revolting levels of racism, proving even if you become president, the white right will still find a way to take you down a few pegs. The dregs of society have risen to the top. Criminality is the way. The name of the game now. No better than the mob. Every law is set in stone except when they decide it isn't for them. Let this insanity end. Let this poem be an epitaph. Let us grow. Let us escape the illness. And I'm not talking about the coronavirus either. Woo! That's fun. Why so serious? So, I'm wrapping up the podcast for today. I'm hoping to get another one in before Halloween. Maybe I'll come up with a costume or something. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see what happens, you know. No pressure, no problem. I'll just do what I can, when I can, keep writing. Visit my page on TikTok for exclusive videos, vlogs, and shit that I'm not going to post on Facebook because fuck that shit. That's Writing Manzoni. Writing Manzoni. Follow me on Facebook. Not just Alexander Manzoni, but my author page, Alexander A. Manzoni. And that's where you're going to get more details about my writing and quotes and excerpts and things like that. Follow me on Twitter, baby. Writing Manzoni. And the Spokane Story. You know, because that's where I go and I do my real ranting. Say whatever the fuck I want whenever I feel like it. And if you don't like it, well, mute me. Block me. Do whatever it is that you do. So, this is Alexander A. Manzoni bidding you adieu. Cue theme music. Fuck yeah. Follow your local art galleries, support them, spend some money if you can, buy some paintings from the artists, you know? It doesn't pay much, despite the fact you'll see how expensive paintings are, but considering how much time and effort and their souls they spend, drop into it, you know, it would be nice to support a few people, namely my mother, Virginia. She's been churning out paintings like crazy over the quarantine, and it's been fantastic. Also, all my friends, Sophia is an amazing artist. I love it. I love everything she does. You know, get out there, mask the fuck up or be a mask hole, celebrate life, and try to stay alive. This is Alexander Manzoni with Manzoni in the Morning, signing off.
Manzoni in the morning show. Manzoni in the morning show. You don't know where you're gonna go. Manzoni in the morning show.